We're about to show you a very interesting panel discussion on how companies can navigate the rapidly changing and evolving technology landscape to ensure business resilience in the channel. We have industry veterans and leaders discussing how the challenging market conditions of today can be used to identify opportunities and rethink the delivery of products and services. In today's debate, we have a total of 6 panelists. First up, we have Maya Zakur, the Channel Sales Director for the Middle East, Africa, Italy and Spain, and NetApp. We have Santosh Sanser, the General Manager of Hyperdisk Distribution. Taj El Kayat, the Regional Director for the Middle East and North Africa at Citrix. Mario M. Veljovic, the General Manager at VAD Technologies. VM Manu, the General Manager of Avientech. And Firas Saifan, the Executive Director at Tsme.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the panel discussion on navigating the technology landscape, ensuring business resilience in the channel industry. I'm Anita, editor of Reseller Tsme, and on behalf of CPI Media, I welcome you all. Well, the challenging market conditions brought on by the pandemic this year has forced global markets to struggle more than usual to adapt and grow. In fact, the economic fallout of the crisis continues to challenge businesses to innovate, reach out and grow by discovering new ways to deliver their products and services. Today, organizations and consumers are being compelled to ensure business continuity in an environment driven overwhelmingly by technology. Sustainability and survival have become the buzzwords, and harnessing the right technology to ensure resilience has become the new business paradigm. So how is the channel coping? What plans does it have to effectively capture the various technological developments? How do they translate these developments into effective business outcomes? More importantly, how prepared are the customers to shift to these new paradigms? These are the key questions that the market must answer. So to discuss this important topic, we have with us 6 distinguished experts. Let me briefly introduce you to them. First, we have Maya Zakur, Channel Sales Director, Middle East, Africa, Italy, and Spain at NetApp. Maya is an accomplished, results-driven sales professional with over 20 years of channel and sales experience at leading international companies, including B2B high-tech enterprises. In her current role, Maya manages NetApp's regional channel distribution and alliances landscape and focuses on growing channel coverage across MEA, Italy, and Spain. Welcome, Maya. Then we have Taj El Kayat, Regional Director, Middle East and North Africa at Citrix. Taj brings with him nearly 2 decades of experience in selling complex solutions within the enterprise and service provider space. He has a core understanding of the challenges enterprises face and a talent for overcoming them with the appropriate technology and service. Our next panelist is Santosh Sanser, General Manager at Hyperdisk Distribution. Santosh has over 20 years of experience in the distribution business and deep expertise in sales, marketing, and business development across India, Africa, and the Middle East. Then we have Mario Veljovic, General Manager at VAD Technologies. Mario is a veteran in the ICT industry, and he has held various senior management positions at leading ICT distributors across Europe, Middle East, and Africa. He has been building and executing strategies that have helped transform organizations from traditional ICT distribution to value-added distribution, as well as founded a distribution business that is focused on next-gen and disruptive technologies. Next on our panel is Firas Saifan, Executive Director, Tsme Solutions. Firas has led, designed, and managed digital business transformation projects with Tsme clients. In the realm, he has successfully managed and implemented business process management, performance management, strategy management, and corporate performance management projects that have enabled true vision realization for public and private sector clients. We also have with us VM Manu, General Manager at Avientech. VM Manu has been in the IT and audiovisual industry for the last 18 years and is the General Manager of Avientech, responsible for its initial setup to current success under his strong leadership and vision. So let's, without further ado, begin the discussion and take it forward. My first question, Maya, is to you. So how has the transformation journey been for your organization, especially this year? What are the key learnings?
Thank you, Anita, and pleasure to be on that platform and connected with such great leaders. NetApp passed through a transformation journey not only last year and due to the pandemic. We transformed, NetApp transformed internally from being the storage vendor to be the data or hybrid cloud data services organization, moving completely from hardware and focusing only on hardware to be a cloud provider and a software provider. So that is the first transformation that we started maybe 2 years or 3 years ago, planning and focusing on driving this transformation. And fortunately or unfortunately, last year with the pandemic, we had the opportunity to implement as well this transformation in the market and with through our partners and to our customers. So I would say it was an opportunity where we had firstly to implement what we've been working so hard into driving, which is really managing the data of our customers and not only storing the data the way it used to be before. Therefore, I think this year it is a place where people reviewed where they need and what they really need, how they would want to drive their business and continue to thrive in these difficult times. And no one could help them maybe much better than a specialist. And today we take pride at NetApp to be the specialist to help our customers to manage their data, which is today, it is the asset, it is the oil, it is the gold, it's everything that the customer needs. And how they manage it, it is really what will make them survive this pandemic and survive maybe any unforeseen similar situations in the future. So that's from our side. We helped a lot our partners because we do everything through our partners. And maybe throughout the panel or the discussion, I'll take you more, Anita, through what we did to help more our partners and our customers really being able to survive this pandemic and this difficult year.
Right, Maya. Yes, indeed. Thank you. We'd love to hear from you. My next question, Mario, let's hear it from you. How has it been for you and for your organization? What are the key learnings?
It always reminds me a little bit of the movie Back to the Future when they tested the time machine. It really works. And I think we have been working on digital transformation for so many years. And suddenly we had to really test everything which we have implemented, and it had to work, actually. And it did work. And I think the learning for us is that, number one, we can be very blessed to be in the IT industry, because I think we are the least affected compared to many other industries around us, especially here in Dubai, the hospitality industry, which was heavily affected, obviously. So good news is, yes, we are in IT. Second good news is, yes, everything which we have sold over these 20 years we are in the industry and moving towards digital transformation is even working. I mean, a good example is that we actually moving to a larger office, and before it was always a nightmare moving office. Now, with almost nobody being in the office and being used to work from home and staying productive, it is actually no headache anymore. Actually, it can all happen on its own pace. And in fact, the layout of our office is changing, because now our office is not a place to work anymore. Our office is now becoming a place where we actually have meetings with our partners. So we made sure that we have more meeting space, more meeting rooms available, instead of this open work layout, which we usually had. On the partner side, obviously, we had to spend more efforts in order to stay connected to our partner ecosystem, which is obviously the essence of our business. Because, I mean, without our partners, we would never reach and gain these opportunities which we want to get into it, especially when you are actually focusing on a product portfolio which is more driven towards disruptive technologies. So it's something which is really living on a strong enabled channel in order to be successful. So yeah, we got into this one and we felt maybe it's just a sprint. It turned out to be an endurance race, and I'm very glad that the team and the vendors and the partners have all supported us to remain relevant and continue growing.
Right, Mario. Yes, indeed. Taj, what do you have to say to that? How has it been for you? What has the learning been like?
Well, again, thanks, Anita, for having me and being part of this esteemed panel. It's always good to be well connected with the market and with the leaders in this industry. For us, I think we were at the core of this entire reaction and response to COVID-19. Given the solutions that we offer our customers, for us it was going back to Mario's very well put point, is an endurance race. I mean, for us from day zero, we really had to take very quick and swift actions to support our customers and our partners to react to this pandemic. And we've taken three basically steps. The first thing we've done is we had to take our own measures to make sure that our own employees are safe to be able to cater and to support customers and partners. We launched immediately programs to enable customers to shift to work from home models, leveraging the technology that they've invested over the years on with Citrix. We've also provided programs to enable more runway, if you will, to our partners and distributors to be able to navigate through the economic impact that the pandemic has actually bestowed upon us. And then we are now in a phase where we are, let's say, firming up and solidifying the foundations for a lot of the cutting corners that we had to go through to rapidly respond and provide customers the ability to maintain and sustain their business continuity and work from home platforms. We had to move from ad hoc tactical, if you will, responses into now making those solutions stay for good. And one of the things that we've learned is that the human capacity and the human talent and the human capital can actually be very productive without being constrained to a place. We wanted to really provide the space for innovation and to really unlock the potential of the employees and the potential of the human capital. And we were able to work hand in hand with our partners to support our customers to achieve just that. The productivity have gone through the roof. I can take it my own pace. I don't think I've had a more busy time than I've had in the last 10 to 12 months. With meetings. Today, if it was very difficult to even get to C-levels in the past, now you can get to C-levels, very quickly on a Zoom call. Cloud adoption has been absolutely phenomenal. We've seen, rapid growth of digital transformation. So we're very, again, going back to the point that Maya and Mario mentioned. We need to be absolutely blessed that we're in this industry, not for the sake of us being able to navigate through this pandemic, but to really drive our higher purpose, which is to support the community and the economy that we actually are a part of to really do their best. And we take pride that we were a big part of that.
Right. Firas, let's hear it from you now. How has it been? What has the learning been like for you and your organization?
Okay, first of all, thank you for having me with all of those leaders in this industry. From my point of view, I want to take it from the other side. For us, there's something called risk, and we found that during this period, we have faced the positive side of the risk, which means that we have been forced, because what we do is we deliver digital transformation projects. So what we have faced during this kind of pandemic area is that most of our clients are exerting more pressure on us in order to be able to transform in a faster manner. So what you need to deliver usually in 3 months or 4 months or 1 year now needs to be done by 50% of the time. This has exerted high pressure truly on us, on the technology that we are using and how we're going to transform our clients and help them in this. So the pressure that we felt during this pandemic or during this piece of time is that you always have to be prepared. But being prepared is not always being prepared by your resources. You need to have a complete ecosystem between yourself and with other partners or other vendors that will work with you, that will really complement the cycle. And we discovered that truly you cannot do everything by yourself. You cannot say that, yes, I'm the Superman, I'm the hero who can do it all. You need to build a complete ecosystem around your offering in which you can deal with different kind of partners to collaborate together to deliver to our final client what he's really looking for. So from my point of view, the major lessons learned here is that you really need to think about your channels, you really need to think about your alliances, and you need to have your resources ready, learning, and you keep learning in order to be able to fulfill the client needs, which was the major thing that we have faced in this kind of duration of pandemic. Sorry.
Right. Santosh, over to you. Let's hear it from you.
Yes. Thank you for having me here. I think my response is mostly coming from the distribution side. So I think when I talk of suppliers or talk of customers, I'm talking from the distribution side. We are part of CIS group, so we are in a Middle East Africa organization. I think Maya will know that we do distribute NetApp in some parts of Africa for her through Christian Turney, she might know. And we have integration arm through Nelly South, so she knows, I think, both the gentlemen over there. So for us, when this whole thing started, I think our story, the way it started, is not different than anybody else. It's more or less the same, right? We got into a shock. We thought the timeframes were going to be what they are going to be. We thought at that point of time. So I think the first 2-3 weeks we were recoiling around that whole effect, and we were saying that yes, we have started digital projects. How lucky we are. 2-3 weeks down the line, when everyone started working from home and clients had their own requirements, we started realizing the kind of digitally that we think we are not really how digital we should have been in the first place. The journey has been probably slow, and it needed much more acceleration than we thought it would need, and that really made us go back to the drawing board. So in first 2-3 weeks, we realized where we really stand with the pandemic, the way it is hitting. Next 2-3 months was all about assuring, committing to suppliers, to customers about their commitment, our willingness to stay there, to stay invested on the things that we had started, not to give up on them, the difficult times. We were very clear on that. And a lot of that 2-3 months went into that. In this 2-3 months, we were clear that the pandemic is not going to go very easily. The 2-3 months was, now we're talking of next 3-4 quarters. So the weeks change into months and the months change into quarters, right? And that's what we are facing today, that some of these things will be there. And how things will be after the pandemic, we have gone into the next phase which says, no, some of these things are going to stay here permanently, because now that we have seen the juice of things the way they are, and we see merits of working from home, where we need social interactions and where we need work from home, what is more productive, what is more of a distraction. I think we started understanding this, and the assessment of that is forcing us to go back to the drawing board. Reassess the strategy in the way we never thought we would be doing it in the first place. A very fast and rapid adoption of things that we thought we were not willing to do in the first place, and that has really put us into a different. Today in our organization, one of the things that we have done really drastic is to really consolidate the entire resources and the teams across Middle East Africa. We have done that, and we never thought we would be able to do it in a couple of years. We did it in 1 month. Which we never thought we would be. Because fundamentally, there's 2 prime reasons. The necessity was looking straight into our face, and the mindset, willing to go through the change, willing to go through the transformation was much more evident, not only from the management side, but also from all the employees, because they are now understood there was a very critical need to go through this if we have to survive through this and move forward. So really for us, I'm sure it is for many organizations, and our story might resonate with some of the panelists that we have today here, both from the distribution of the customer side, of the supplier side, that we are all part of the same supply chain, so same value chain. So we are going to impact each other because we are in a way interdependent on the way we are going to the market. And so we kind of face that. The other thing that we are facing challenge today was that how important is a simple concept like ideation. One of the things we realized is that the so-called digital transformation we're talking about that we were doing was around context, about how we'll go to the customers, the websites, the online platforms, the bots that will give it to them, the way they can pay the money. Everything was all about that. We realized that there's a big difference between context and core. And digital transformation might force you to change what you are delivering in the first place and how you are delivering. And those are the key and tough questions we are asking ourselves, and we are probably getting embarrassed when we ask them, because we don't have such good answers to those questions. And when you do have answers, do you have the wherewithal, the team, the structure, the willingness, the platform to go through the transitions? So that's a phase that we are in as an organization. We don't claim to have hit upon all the solutions at time being, but we are very much willing to be focused, willing to stay invested in this process. And I think the next four quarters are anyway going to force us through that. So we are looking forward to it.
Right, I'm sure. Manu, let's hear it from you. How has it been?
Thank you so much for the opportunity to be part of this discussion. I can say the first and foremost step what we taken is to ensure the staffs are retained, as it is to be ready for support our partners. So because that's our front-end soldiers, front-end people to face the customers always. So that was our first step. We taken the measures. So we ensure all the staff will be there without job loss or without disturbing any of the things. So once it's done, then second one what we did is like literally what we focus for the conference building, because the technology is all of a sudden shifting from traditional way to the new cloud platform or video collaboration, conferencing, remote meetings, work at home, all these things. So in order to take our channel, our customers in confidence, the first step what we did, we need to take our staff, internal staff, to be confident and ready to adapt those technologies and sudden shifting. Like not only technology in that matter, anything sudden changes will disturb the front line. So we add a more training, more team meetings, more vendor engagements to make our team first in confidence, which we transform and pass to the confidence of the partners, our customers. So that was the one of the major thing like what we did. Like it needed more training, more briefings, and more brainstorming session, everything. Because as a distributor, we always to be with the partners, like we travel literally like a lot. So all this changing to the video conferencing calls and audio calls and moving everything to cloud. So this is the one of the things we did, and always like it is a situation where even the partners need to be get financially supported. So obviously we that's one of the thing we need to be more focused. Myself also focused on the financial discipline, make that happen to pass to the support to the partners.
Yes.
So obviously as myself or my company expected, same way partners also need those kind of support. Yes, it's not directly related to technology, but to running the technology, whatever it is, that is the one of the situation comes, everybody need a extended support. So those things we taken care of them. Then also I believe going forward, especially we focus more on the audiovisual industry. The partnership is another one of the key point we focused, because it is kind of the transforming a group, the systems which you are addressing for the group system is transforming to the smaller group or individual based systems.
Right.
So those things we oversee, and obviously that's the stage we are going through. So we get into that immediately, and even we pass those messages to partners and sit with the partners, make their conference level up. So majorly like the conference building and adapting the technology at the fastest pace was the one of the thing we taken into first consideration.
Right. Let's now move on to a very, very interesting question. What are some of the main technological trends driving the channel market today? I'm sure all of us have, technology is growing at a rapid pace. So what exactly are some of the main trends that we should look out for and watch out for? Santosh, let's begin with you then.
Okay. I think the one which is the default given is that today the digitization is by default, right? So it's digital first and it is remote first. And I think that one thing is driving most of the businesses. And that is driven by two fundamental reasons, I believe. Today, the tech literacy and the tech mindset has increased rapidly in the last 6 to 9 months, which was probably not existing for a long time, or probably was existing but was not at such an active position. I have colleagues of me in different industry. They tell me that we never realized a simple thing like a web form, okay, with mandatory fields, can save me multiple days of frustration with my customers and my employees without getting into very serious solutions. He says, if that is what a web form can do for me, which I never looked at it when I was posting a cancellation ticket for Emirates or I was doing something else on a Facebook, I never realized the power of, because I never looked at a web form in that way. He says, I'm looking at it from that perspective today because I was looking for more ideation in this last 6 to 9 months. And I think this anywhere operations is going to foster this big time. The web platform, the digital platforms, because of this one trend of operations from anywhere operations is going to be one of the major trends. And we've already started seeing it because most of the people have to adopt digitization today. It's no longer an option, it's a necessity, as most of us realize. And I think that is where I think the second trend comes in, is this hyper automation, which they say that everything that you can digitize, you have to digitize. That is what is coming up. So all the physical processes that you have, You have to put it on a platform. You have to have measurements around that. So you can have visualization, you can have metrics, you can have analytics. And most of the businesses need it to drive, because it's only to hyper automation and access anywhere that you can really build a scale of operations without increasing your cost. It's very efficient. It very gives you to put alerts out there, and the whole thing goes very up. I think the moment you talk of hyper automation and access anywhere, you're talking of networks and automation. So security is not far behind, because the moment you have automation and the moment you have networks, your security is the next thing lying in place. And I think most of the security vendors, the number of security vendors that are coming up today, and the solutions that are coming, and the way they are getting adopted in the industry is amazing. Whether it is a Spark Cognition, whether it is a NetApp, there are so many solutions out there, and each one of is focusing on a segment and becoming tier one in that particular segment. Most of the vendors that I see.
Yes.
And I think they are making a significant impact and a significant growth today. And I think these according to me are top three. There is a distant fourth that is lying there apart from the ones that are really spoken about, which I think is there. It's not really become prominent, but it's in the cloud domain. And today I think you cannot talk of any trends without mentioning cloud. So I'm just mentioning this fourth one on the table. And I think it's distributed cloud. I think today one of the biggest challenges across adoption of cloud in most of the countries is that you need local data, you need local processing, and you need low latency. These are the three common things that you are hearing when you're talking of cloud today. One example about it is the AWS Outpost, where they actually make one rack available to you in your premises, and they completely manage it for you. And that's what they fundamentally do. A lot of the solutions are going to come. According to Gartner, this is going to be one of the most important trends. We haven't seen those numbers flowing in because we haven't got those orders. So people, I don't know those numbers, but it's definitely in the cards. There's a very strong business case for that in many countries where this is not a possibility to have a full-fledged data centers from the vendors themselves. And I think this is definitely coming on the table. So this four among the various things that are there, I believe seem to be obvious, but will definitely have their own impact, even if they are obvious at first glance.
Right. Maya, how about you? What are some of the main technology trends in your opinion?
I would say I second Santosh in too many areas that he covered. I would say the main trends, and remember, Anita, trend is something, and driving the trend and implementing it is something else. And you need for that, as I said in the beginning, the right specialist to be able to do that. But in terms of trends, I would say, firstly, it's working remotely. That is one thing that it's a must. And every customer, every partner, every vendor needed it over the last year. Then I would say digital transformation, of course, artificial intelligence and cloud. And these are the main trends, I would say, that in our market, specifically the Middle East, you hear every CIO or maybe every customer on top of mind. They want to understand how they would take this journey, being it the journey to the cloud, being using their analytics to do the right data management and to be able to use their data in the right way, being it maybe continue with their digital transformation journey that started maybe a couple of years ago. But what I would say, whether you're thinking for the future and your journey to the cloud, whether you're thinking with an immediate solution for your remote desktop solutions, or whether you're working on your data center and you're not too sure how you use your data today on premises, or maybe keeping it till tomorrow to be worked or to be thrown on one of the clouds, I would say you still need one thing, which is Data Fabric from NetApp. And Data Fabric from NetApp, it's an architecture where it will help our customers not only build their data center and think of how they will manage their data today, but being connected to the future at any point of time, irrelative of the cloud journey they would think of the future. And not only that, even if they think today of building or continue with their journey of their artificial intelligence and understand more how they can benefit and manage their data, this is again where they need their data fabric to be looked at and to consider NetApp to help them and support them. NetApp today is really a specialist in that area. And I keep repeating the specialist word because when you are in difficult times, Anita, you need a specialist. When you're sick and you just have a flu, you just go to any doctor. But when you're really, really very sick, you just need the best doctor in town. And this is what we take pride today with our data fabric, to give the best solution for every customer that he wants to benefit from his data, irrelative where it sits, because he owns this data and he has the key to put it wherever he would like to put. So that is from trends and how we're taking these trends today to the market. And that's why I would say it was an opportunity for us, and it would continue for the coming years as an opportunity for NetApp. We had an amazing year with lots of great customers, with lots of new customers. They were more than happy and they want to explore even more with NetApp. And I think I would like every single customer to check the specialist in town and to reach to us. So that's it from my side.
Right, Maya, right. Taj, let's hear it from you now. How has it been? I mean, what are some of the technologies that...
Well, look, from a technology trend perspective, I don't think there's much to add on top of what Maya and Santosh mentioned. I think we'll all probably agree that these are the key trends that is shaping up our future moving forward. What I would focus on, though, is the fact that the world is moving towards a software as a service, and in the context of channel, and what we have seen over especially the last 6 months, because Citrix has gone through a transformation of its own, of moving away from perpetual type of selling into subscription based selling, as well as putting less emphasis on on-prem and moving more towards SaaS and cloud services. What we've seen, the channel was not ready for that. I mean, we all know today that perpetual business provides a higher volume and revenue now, versus letting go of revenue and getting it to actually be on an amortized or a monthly or an annual basis, right? So it shrinks basically the total contract value or the annual contract value of those resellers. So what I think is going to be shaping the channel market moving forward is the adaptation of those channel partners to understand the benefit of predictable business using subscription-based models, and to build their businesses based on that. I think that's going to be extremely key, because those partners who are going to be resistant to subscription-based models and software as a service models, to basically focus on legacy, they will probably be left alone in that market. So that would be one area that I think will reshape the mindset of the channel. And the second thing is, with all the adoption of whether it's AI, cloud, or remote work, to stay, there's going to be a massive focus on the service element and the service at the edge. I mean, today users who are going to be adopting remote work, what they really care about is accessing their applications and data from anywhere, from any device. So that edge, and that the user now is at the edge, and that delivery of that server to the edge is going to be absolutely key. And the ability to provide those users, the right solutions in a very secure manner is going to be absolutely key. So it's not only now about going to a cloud or having hybrid multi-cloud. Is that can you really deliver the service to the edge in the most secure manner? Because as we know now, the more people are accessing data and applications from the remote work, the surface of attack now is increasing rapidly as well. So how are we going to support partners and customers through this community of technology vendors that are out there, and partner from a services standpoint and expertise in security? How are we going to basically harness that to make sure that the end user experience is not impacted, security is not compromised, but more importantly, that we're not jeopardizing the whole notion and the whole benefit of remote work, which is to provide that space of innovation. We don't want to hinder that. So I think that's going to also reshape a lot of the way that the channel is going to be working, is how do they take part into that kind of new trend and new focus on supporting the user at the edge.
Right. Manu, let's hear it from you about the technology. Can you hear me?
Right. Yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
Manu.
So if I talk a little specifically on the audiovisual and the video collaboration industry, one of the major trend now is like many of the hardware-based systems are getting away, and it's getting a what I can say, multi-platform hardware system, single hardware systems. So many hardwares are getting into single platform, and many of the software is getting into the cloud platform. It's a kind of service. So that's one of the trend which is happening, and obviously, yes, as a AV segment, like generally AV is kind of divided as a separate audio, visual, and video collaboration industry, but the gap between AV industry and IT, like now, IT industry getting merged now. It was already happening for the couple of years, like most of the brands, audiovisual brands or audiovisual technology was on proprietary protocol it was running. But many years they come to the standard protocols, which is interoperable with the IT network, the same network where we can run the audio, video, everything. But because of the COVID situation, those migration or that kind of interoperability things are getting much faster. Before there was really a separate space of audio, visual, video collaboration space, industry and the companies, and IT as a separate more or less. But that's getting merged now. So
Right.
it's more merged on the IT side and more moving to the cloud platform. That is one of the trend which I can say. Second one, definitely, obviously, like before it was everybody in the office and we have the big boardrooms, meeting rooms, those kind of platform is changed to work at home scenario. So now more of the innovation or the technology trend is coming towards to the individually focused systems rather than a big group of boardroom, those kind of systems. So obviously that should be in the cloud, and it should be digitalized and should be accessible anywhere in the world. And that is the one of the key trend which I can see, and we are going through the
Right.
current state.
Right. Firaz, how about you?
From my point of view, I agree with everyone here that maybe digital transformation was one of the major trends that we are seeing in the current market. But let me now try to slice it a little bit and look at it from another point of view. What I believe and what I have seen, that it's all about doing your work while not there. So this is how it goes. So everybody is looking how you can do your work while not there. From our point, I've read many reports, but also we have seen it as well. The kind of robotic process automation, the RPA, is one of the most important leads and opportunities you are getting. You can't believe, Anita, how many requests we are receiving from all our clients. Yes, I want to implement a robot. Yes, I want to put a robot. Yes, I want to do that. They call it a bot. So it's looking like everybody wants to robotize, let's put it this way, robotize their processes. They just want the robots to do everything, and they just want to sit, lay back, and drink their coffee and just look at the robots working there. So I've noticed this increasingly happening in a very, very active and steep manner. So you start with one bot, in 2 months you receive a request for 10 bots, and then they say, okay, we want a bot assistant, digital assistant for every employee, because anybody wants just to do the work while he's not there. There's challenges, and yes, I'm on the technology part, but you have always to say, as I mentioned to everyone of my clients, yes, the bot can do the work, but you need also to be in control of your bots. You need to be there. So it's not like putting a bot, it means that you're not there. The other trend that we are seeing here comes from the same field, which is monitoring and controlling things while you're not there. And here comes also a very new fad in the market, and they're talking about it, and it's coming. It's the IoT, Internet of Things, in which you can control and monitor and see different type of, not people now, devices. So you can manage your premises, you can manage your work, you can manage your vehicles, your assets, your pipes. If you have pipes, if you are a construction company, whatever you have, you will be managing it through the IoT. So the IoT was one of the most important also trends in the market that I'm seeing, and there is so many kind of challenges around it, from the security point of view, the data, where will it go, and one of the most important let's say challenges that we have is also the connectivity point of view. Being able to just implement those kind of sensors and monitoring things from far away, and having those sensors streaming all the time has put also a kind of pressure on the network, on the networking and what they call it, the communication big companies, that would you are going to go GSM, or we're going to go the WLAN, or so it's totally putting a huge pressure here. So in a nutshell, I believe it's all about doing the work while you're not there. So it's either be the RPA, the robotic process automation, and IoT, which is a major part of the digital transformation journey, with the other things that I definitely agree with all of the panelists here as well.
Mario, how about the bot thingy? I mean, are you also, I mean, do you agree with that, or what do you think of the technology?
No, 100%. I will agree with everybody on this panel, and I agree especially with Maria when it comes to, like, okay, there are trends and there's obviously execution. And I think I would even, from our perspective, I would even see it in a similar line. I think we have worked ever since we established this business on the cloudification of our portfolio. So we don't see cloud as a separate business unit. We see cloud reaching into all aspects of the business, which we are actually looking after, if it's infrastructure or if it's software or anything else, physical security even. And I think this is what we have really seen happening this year. The cloudification has taken a major momentum for us. And I'm always making this joke of, like, it took me 10 years to have an overnight success. So yes, we have been working very hard over years to prepare ourselves for it. And we have seen that actually happening this year, because suddenly customers have been running to the cloud, running to everything as a service, and for the real reasons of cloud, not because it turns out to be cheaper, not to be it's easier to actually OPEX, CAPEX. No, it's about agility, having things immediately on the spot. And this is where we have seen a major momentum. What we see as a new trend coming in, and this is where we're actually taking a lot of pride in, is that what we used to have as a vision to cloudify our portfolio, we are now working on embedding a lot of artificial intelligence into our solutions, which we're actually offering. And that takes real big interest in the market now. I mean, in line to what Firas says, I mean, we see a lot of requests coming in. I mean, people want to have email bots and document bots and chat bots and bots everywhere. But again, you need to pick the right solutions, because yes, RPA can be very complex. People are a little bit worried about it. So we're trying to introduce more everyday AI solutions. Managing your email boxes, managing something which is a bit more complex for specific industries. And this is where we're actually seeing a big interest. We're not seeing yet the results, but we are probably seeing big results coming in for next year as new projects are actually being rolled out.
Right. Now let's go very quickly through the next two questions, because we're slowly running out of time. But security is a very critical aspect of technology. So how, in your opinion, can you ensure security of your technological offerings, especially when you migrate to the cloud? Manu, let's begin with you.
See, like, since we are into the video conferencing industry, video communication industry, like, one of the major concern was on security part of it. So on the video conferencing itself. So be it like, especially which was more on the government organization, those kind of, apart from public organization, having those concern. But what I can feel like, nowadays all the cloud platforms are with highly secured, and it got, many standards, everything maintained. So the trend currently, which is getting diluted, many of which I know many of our partners and working with many of the semi-government customers and everyone, it is moving on now. Especially the, on the current scenario, it is one of the mandatory things to go with the video collaboration, because every stakeholders of the business need to have kind of communication platform. So which is instant accessible, more reliable, and all are on the cloud. Right. So things are getting changed, and the fear within the team getting diluted now. So
absolutely,
that's what
yeah.
from my side,
Taj, let's hear your opinion about that.
Look, from my perspective, it's quite simple. The main focus that we do, to develop or to drive our digital workspace is secure access to applications and data. So that's kind of our mainstream focus. And obviously, with remote work, this is more important than ever to make sure that there is the right elements of security there. I think from our side, cloud has proven to be more secure than traditional security, leveraging the data centers, just because of the way cloud providers actually provide, their own security solutions to harness, that whole idea. And we want, customers to believe more into that because, again, they're leveraging the power of a very highly sophisticated and complex security policies and procedures that those cloud providers are driving. And we are as a company that provides cloud services, we leverage cloud providers, whether it's Microsoft or Amazon. So our cloud service relies heavily on that, and for us to basically drive the security aspect to it, we have to also leverage their security policies and procedures. So from our perspective, those solutions are going to become now by design, and security is integrated and should be integrated into anything, simply because this is what the market now requires, given the surface and the landscape of the attack space. It's increasing dramatically, and it needs to be addressed. So security will always be prime, in my opinion.
Maya?
I agree 100% with Taj on that. I think, but on top of it, we really need to look at how we do things. And I always like to simplify it for our partners. And when I say it is not only about security and implementing the security policies, whether being on the cloud or on the edge or the core, but I would say as well, it is how we at NetApp first look at data. Your data is encrypted when it is at your premises, when it is your data, before you're moving it around. And when you encrypt your data, it is like you're locking it and you're securing your data before you think of which cloud you're putting it and which policy you would want to take care of. So therefore, I think, yes, security is very critical. And I think we see the tremendous growth in cloud, especially in the Middle East and specifically in the UAE. It is because the big hyperscalers, they invested in building their data centers in these countries. And what does it mean? It means that it gives confidence to the public sector, to every single customer in this market. Your data, before you think of it, it is secure. And then we think of where we are putting your data and how you manage it. So basically, cloud data services is what we are specialists at, and this is what we want our customer to think of it from confidence that their data is secure. And then, of course, then you do the next step, which is security on the edge, which is securing by firewalls or by any other terms or means. And Anita, I come from two backgrounds, which is firstly majoring in computer engineering, where I've built my own, I would say, algorithms, where I know that when it is encrypted, no one can decrypt it unless you are the owner of it. And then the second aspect of it, it is when I was with Fortinet, and how you build your firewalls and how you protect as well. So there is first layer and second layer, in my opinion. And with NetApp, we are very happy to tell you that from the first layer, we make sure that your data is secure. The way you want to manage it later on, it doesn't really matter.
Right, absolutely. Firaz, can we hear from you?
I agree with both Taj and Maya here, and Manu as well. The point from my side is that in this special stream, I try to push it to the experts. So when we build any kind of offering or any kind of thing, we make sure that we are partnering with a really good security on the cloud or on the encryption itself, to make sure that the data is encrypted and is managed and secured in the right way. And one of the major things that I have a discussion previously about this kind of security thing was, maybe before we start this, maybe last year, I had a meeting with one of the major software IoT providers and IoT here, which is Internet of Things, and I asked him, okay, now we can link and we can see everything. How you can secure it? How I can make sure that I'm secure? Okay, now you're monitoring my production lines, my cars, my assets, my temperature, my ACs, my everything through one channel, one control room. how can I make sure that no hacker or whoever can go and can really jeopardize my whole operations? So security is one of the most important things that needs to be really managed. And his answer at that time to me was, he started by saying, you know, Firas, I believe that this will be managed through the encrypting the signal going from the sensor itself to the gateway and then to the network provider. But then he silenced me for maybe 10 seconds and say, you know what? I think that I have really talked to my R&D and see how we can do this, because this is a really huge problem that we as IoT platform providers needs really to think of, and I think they are succeeding here. Now think that you have your data, it's not secured. But now think if you go to the IoT and you have your data which can really affect your actual operations on the ground, can affect your cars. You can stop your car from moving if your data was hacked, if the sensor was hacked. You can stop your complete production line. You can turn a traffic light from red to green. Got the point? And we have seen this maybe in many science fiction movies, but it's there. It is there. So maybe I think security is one of the major things. And from my point of view, what we do and what I do with my team usually, I inform them, give it to the experts. So let's partner with someone and let's work together to have the proper solution. Let's focus on how we develop the solution and move this to that side. But I agree, it should be encrypted from the initiation. Before going to the cloud, it should be handled before being there.
Absolutely. Mario?
No, I mean, I can't agree more with what people are saying, but I think we all know that, especially like cybersecurity, I think a lot of sales is obviously driven by fear. People are scared, and I think we actually living this virus issue ourselves. I mean, we are now scared, you know, touching a door handle. We're scared to go out because we feel that we would catch a virus anywhere. And of course, there are issues out there which we need to be very careful about. We need to prepare ourselves for it. But ultimately, it's even all about, I mean, applying common sense. And that's even when we live now in this pandemic situation, we need to even apply common sense, you know. What are the crowded places you go to? Should you really go to there, right? And the same applies into your IT infrastructure. Don't be overly scared. Trust the specialist, as Maya said it. I think today everybody takes security very, very serious. And I would always say that I would not fear having my data in the cloud like people before. They felt like, oh yeah, but what if somebody gets into the data? I said, look, listen, I mean, if you have a very simple password, which is very easy to hack, I mean, yes, that's your problem. And I think you can't build any system around this. And that's what I meant by applying common sense and relying on the specialists in order to make sure that whatever you actually promote, and that's even something which we do as a due diligence when we actually sign up with vendors, and obviously we are sure that this is a recognized company and they're taking serious or they're taking security serious at the end.
Right. Very quickly, Santosh, how about you?
Okay, so since I'm the last one, let me build up based on a view that I got from the customer feedbacks in a very brief way. Based on the why they are choosing certain solutions today and over the other ones. And one of the things that I got a feedback why they're choosing security is because they don't see security as a problem to be solved. They see security as a framework, a process to be followed today. It has to be part of their own cycle of managing, maintaining the entire technology infrastructure today. That's how they are viewing it today. And there are three things that are top in the mind when they are going for it. One is compliance, one is the risk analysis of the infrastructure, and third is, very interestingly, their own workforce education. Something that we tend to underestimate very often with security is that how much training and education is required around the security thing. So that's a view that I have from a couple of transactions and couple of orders and a couple of solutions that customers have gone through.
Right,
just
right.
adding note to this. Yeah.
Right. Our very last question, and let's run very quickly through it. Just keen to know your outlook for 2021 for the market and for your sector in 2021. Just very quickly, we've like almost come to the end of this discussion. Shall we begin with Mario?
We're very excited about 2021, to be honest. I think we have done the right groundwork in order to have a very interesting and compelling product portfolio. We have seen our partners being very loyal, and I think we're going to have a very good year with everything happening in Dubai and in the Middle East anyway. In 2021, 2021 as well as 22, and with all issues being resolved even on the political side around this area, I think we should be going into a new year very, very optimistic.
Absolutely. Manu, what is your outlook?
So we evolved through the tough situation already. It means not tough, like not distress situation. And we are prepared for upcoming market situation. Like hope very soon by next year it will come to a kind of normality. And as a distributor, and we are focused for the entire Middle East, India, and Africa region. We hope so. The travels will be back soon, because that's one of the major lacking factor in the company, because we. As a joke, I can say we fed up to see each other face like so long 1 year, kind of video call. And especially many of the projects are getting back. I can say not only for obviously in Middle East and even Africa, the mid-size and and big project which is parked for a while coming back. And obviously there are some re-engineering is happening because of the major projects are choosing as, I can say, like mandatory and necessary things are keeping there, and something which are useful or kind of fancy which are taking away from the project. So I can see very positive outlook for the next 2021. And specifically some of the verticals, definitely we are expecting very huge response, especially on the video collaboration platforms.
Right. Firas, what's your outlook for 2021 for the market?
I believe that we have passed the storming kind of behavior in the organizations now, and now things will start picking up again in 2021 to 2022. So now I believe, as per the science, now we're in the norming stage, in which everyone and every kind of enterprise now is trying to understand and trying now to pick up, collect itself, and move forward. Everyone have put their minds, have put their strategies. Now it's obvious, working from home, digital transformation, IT is one of the major trends that needs to follow across all industries. So now everyone has prepared his budgets, and everyone now is starting to move forward. I believe next year is a starting for a new flourishing era for the IT. That's just a start. It will pick up again 2022 and to 2023 until we go from storming to norming to having finally the complete efficient and working together way. I believe next year, Anita, will be about those people who were able to survive and who were able to provide and fulfill their customer needs in 2020. I think it will be an alliance year. It will be a complete solution year. It will not work anymore like Tsme or others. We have to work together to fulfill the increased market demand this field. So I think it's just the start of the rise up again.
Santosh, what's your outlook?
So basically the devices segment actually saw a growth with actually a short supply, which we expect to recover in the next coming quarters. And the other segments, the projects are getting signed off, which were some of them were on some unload. So I think 2021 is a year of recovery. So we are optimistic and positive.
Right. Taj?
I think for us, the human aspect, we now we learned not to take things for granted. I think we're going to move into 2021 appreciating and taking note of proper human interactions and business interactions. I think that's definitely going to be a clear drive into 2021. I think as well that partners and vendors have learned how to survive together, and that's going to be an amazing foundation for even further business. But one thing for sure that I'm looking forward to in 2021 is that closeness that we have been able to achieve over the past year with customers, with partners, with employees, with team members, will only make us stronger because now we appreciate each other's time more. So I think productivity and the well-structured productivity is going to be the new norm, I would say, moving forward. But from a technology standpoint, I believe that the outlook is going to be around more cloud adoption. There's going to be even a further accelerated view on digital transformation. And there's going to be key focus on employee experience. I believe that today the HR organizations in every single company and every single enterprise have a big task upon their shoulders to maintain that employee experience and that employee satisfaction. And technology is here to support that, in my opinion.
Right. And finally, Maya, what's your outlook?
You know me, Anita, I'm usually a very positive person, even when we pass through bad situations. So it wasn't a year that it is really an amazing year for every industry. Maybe for the IT industry, it was good in terms of business. But what I would say we learned a lot. We gave trust and confidence to our partners. They believe more in once we build and we learn how we can become an expert in what we do, we can survive any situation. And I think we need to leverage in 2021 on what we've learned in 2020, being positive and optimistic that 2021 will only bring us more opportunities, more get together because we missed each other. It will open back to travel, to have the people aspect of it. We've been doing business, but it was with Zoom, with Teams, behind the screen, which is not me in general, but I am sure that too many people pass through this. And I am 100% confident that the people aspect of it will be flourishing even more and give it a different taste. So here we go, 2021, for all our partners. Build on the trust and the confidence that you've earned in 2020, and let us celebrate another excellent year in 2021. With that, I thank you a lot, Anita. Thanks.
Excellent, Maya. That was a brilliant quote. Let's all stay optimistic. Let's be, strong. Let's be resilient. Let's go into 2021 with a smile. So that basically brings us to the end of a very, very, very inspiring and interesting discussion. It's very clear that the pandemic has left an impact, but innovation and adaptability have ensured that businesses have stayed resilient. Thank you very much, panelists, for this lovely discussion, and stay safe, have a good day, and Happy New Year in advance to all of you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Anita.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.